Well, I can't walk with my glasses, but I have to put them on to read. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is a privilege for me to be here today presenting the Fred V. Keenan Lifetime Achievement Award to this year's most worthy and deserving recipient. In addition to being an icon of the industry, this gentleman is just that, a true gentleman and someone that I have considered a colleague and a mentor throughout my career. So Morris R. Beschloss, sit back and relax and let me share with you some of the reasons why you're the deserving of this honor. Morris has been has led a life of full amazing accomplishments, complete with such dedication, affection, and devotion to this industry, and with a personality and love for life that has set him apart from others in his peer groups. When we studied his life and we learned about it and about his early life and how his family actually came to America, it was clear, Morris, that you were destined for big dreams and great achievements. In 1938, our very own Moritz Beschloss, a 9-year-old child, and he was living in just outside of Berlin. Being a Jewish boy, and he was educated and successful with his successful family, he enjoyed privileges that other children of his faith weren't afforded in those times. His father was a successful psychiatrist and a decorated World War I hero. His paternal grandmother had connections at the highest level of the German military command. These relationships led Maury to be one of the only Jewish children at that time to participate in meetings of the Nazi youth program. Not only did they accept him, he was a leader with them, who actually was chosen to greet Hitler at one time during one of his train stops in his hometown. But that night, known as the Crystal Night, that was November 9th, 1938, Maury woke to the realities of the Nazi Germany problems. It was known as the Crystal Night, and that was the night the Nazis began their formal attack on the Jews of Germany and Austria to destroy the Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues. With that, Maury's father fled Germany that night. His status as a prominent psychiatrist and war hero meant nothing to the Nazis. His mother realized that she and her children would not be safe very long, so she contacted her uncles in the United States, who arranged for the necessary paperwork to get the family out of the country. So, on Morris's 10th birthday, they arrived in the United States. His grandmother chose to stay in Germany, wrongfully believing her ties to the military would keep her safe. Sadly, she was captured in '43 and was among the millions executed in the concentration camps. Morris called his grandmother the most influential person in his life. He said that she is the one who gave him the discipline, ambition, and inner strength that has carried him to the success that he has had in this industry. The motto by which he has lived his professional life is, and I quote, "If I make up my mind to get something done, I can do it." That motto and the determination behind it has been a living testimony by Maury to honor his grandmother that he so admired and whose life was taken in spite of her own determination. Maury has strived for and achieved the highest levels of success throughout many of his own experiences, from winning a Carnegie Library contest recognizing the child who read the most books one summer, to earning an Eagle Scout Award, to graduating from the University of Illinois. Then he served in the Korean War as a United States Army information officer in the field of psychological warfare. In 1956, he took his skills through psychological warfare and brought them to our industry. No doubt a large part of why he has been so successful. He's still trying to figure some of them out, I think. His first position was an assistant sales and advertising manager for the Hammond Valve Company. Marr devoted himself to Hammond and his new industry work in a way that it was unbelievable, and he worked his way up to be president of the company by the time he was 33 years old. Simultaneously, he actively involved himself with the Valve Manufacturers Association, rising from the youngest director ever in 1962 to chairman and president for a 4-year period. His time and his success at Hammond and the valve manufacturers industry, they mirrored each other. Under Morris's leadership, through acquisition and internal expansions, Hammond grew to over $120 million company and was known as an industry powerhouse for sure. During the years he held a leadership position in the Valve Manufacturers Association, the association membership tripled. Psychologically, he got into their heads too, I guess, more. Through his years to strengthen the plumbing and heating products at Hammond, Marr became involved in the Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Information Bureau. Predictably, he became a board member and eventually the chairman of that organization. His involvement in this group brought in the pipe, valve, and fitting distributors, as well as mechanical contractors and large industrial end users. In 1970, the Central Supply Association and the American Institute of Supply Associations merged to become what we're standing in today, and that's the American Supply Association. And of course, Marr was there. It wasn't long after the merger that Marr teamed up with 4 other titans of the PVF industry at that time: Fred Keenan himself, George Keenan, Charlie Rensburg, and Bob Taylor, to form the IPD, the Industrial Piping Division of ASA, which still exists today and is the leading industry group serving the unique needs of distributors and manufacturers of the PVF industry. Excuse me. To further bring together relationships between manufacturers and distributors, Marr became the founder and the first chairman of the Association of Industry Manufacturers, known as AIM. AIM eventually evolved into the vendor member division of ASA, bringing together industry manufacturers and distributors as equal partners in jointly promoting programs and policies for our mutual benefit in the industry. Before merging into the ASA, the Association of Industry Manufacturers, AIM, became the first industry group to provide services for the independent representatives acting as sales operatives for the manufacturers. Marsh recognized that this group was becoming an integral part of the channel and distribution and led the charge for the formation of what is known today as AMAR, A-I-M-R, AMAR, the single most prominent industry group for manufacturers representatives. He just gets his hands into everything. Marsh was still involved with the Valve Manufacturers Association in the early 80s when he was celebrated as the outstanding chairman of the 20th century's second half. Shortly after that, his parent company was sold, leaving him without a company in the industry he had loved and served so closely for 30 years. Knowing that he wanted to spend the rest of his business career in the PHCP channel of distribution, Marsh became board chairman of American Valve and an advisor to a select industry manufacturers group. Now, in 1981, we uncovered his long-ignored journalism degree when he started a bi-monthly newsletter called the Beschloss Perspective and became a columnist for ASA News.